Okay, pause. Social Security is in crisis mode and our seniors are paying the price. Meanwhile, everyone's confused about this $2,000 tariff, dividend, stimulus, whatever the hell you want to call it, check. Trust me, it's nothing like the Doge checks. So stick around because I'm going to answer some of the most popular questions about these checks in today's video. But before we get into anything else, we need to talk about Social Security, because the new SSDI changes are about to smack blue-collar workers in red states harder than anyone's admitting.
The Trump administration is proposing changes to Social Security disability benefits that will make access to those benefits significantly harder, according to new reporting from ProPublica. If adopted in its current form, ProPublica reports that as many as 1.5 million Americans could lose eligibility over the next decade, and workers in Republican-led states will be hit the hardest.
We're talking about West Virginia, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Alabama. States that are full of older workers who broke their backs doing hard labor their entire lives. And now they're the ones about to get hit the hardest. And if you're wondering why, here's the deal. Right now, if you're over 50, you have a much better chance of getting approved for SSDI than someone in their 40s. But the new rule, it basically erases age as a factor. A 55-year-old is now treated the same as a 42-year-old. And get this, an anonymous official literally said that, quote, age doesn't matter anymore because most modern jobs can be done on a computer, meaning even if your body is wrecked, they think you should just go get a sedentary job and stop relying on SSDI. Look, getting disability benefits is super hard. Approvals keep dropping and the wait times are ridiculous. People are literally dying before they even get a yes. In 2023 alone, 30,000 people died while waiting. That's insane. And now with these new changes, well, they're saying it could push another 30% of older Americans off SSDI. And why are we doing it? It doesn't save Social Security. It doesn't fix the trust fund. SSDI isn't even paid from that. And the worst part is these older blue-collar workers begging for help aren't freeloaders. They paid into this disability fund for decades. And now the government's basically telling them, yeah, sorry, you better start competing with college-educated 30-year-olds for a tech job if you want to get by. If we keep squeezing our seniors, we'll see more and more people in their 80s working in diners with a bad leg just to afford rent.
If I can make one video go viral, I hope it's this one, because our server at Eaton Park is probably in her 70s. I'm here with my son, and she can hardly walk. And we heard her tell the table next to us, because they asked why she was still working, that she only makes $910 a month on Social Security, and she has to still work because her bills exceed $910 a month. Any proceeds I get from this video and the TikTok Creator Rewards program, I will come back and give to her. I have $40 in my purse, so that's what I'm going to leave her for a tip.
We get a lot of views off this.
Why?
Because she's like barely has any money.
And she can hardly. Yeah. Thank you.
You have a great day. Be
This
safe
is
out
for
there.
you. We heard you say you can't retire yet,
I know.
so we gave you a little extra.
Thank you. No, I mean, I worked all my life and as a waitress and still can't retire.
I'm sorry. I feel so terrible. So does he. Yeah. How old are you? Oh, I shouldn't ask that. Sorry.
I'm 18. I'm 81.
Oh my goodness. You look great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I can still outdo these young whippersnappers. You take care now. Take care and enjoy life, because It'll go by you fast.
All right, let's talk about stimulus checks because a lot of you keep asking, the Doge dividend flopped, so why believe anything now? And honestly, I get it. This administration has made big promises before that never happened.
There's even under consideration a new concept where we give 20% of the Doge savings to American citizens and 20% goes to paying down debt, because the numbers are incredible, Elon. So many billions of dollars, billions, hundreds of billions, and we're thinking about giving 20% back to the American citizens and 20% down to pay back debt. You know, one of the questions asked of me this morning is, are you going to make a dividend to the people? And the purpose of what I'm doing is primarily to pay down debt, which will happen in very large quantity. But I think there's also a possibility that we're taking in so much money that we may very well make a dividend to the people of America.
The problem with the Doge checks was simple. They were supposed to come from money Doge saved, but that wasn't new cash. That was basically taxpayer money being shifted around, and no Republican was ever going to approve that.
The president said that a percentage of Doge savings could maybe go back to the American people in the form of what he called Doge stimulus checks, something like 20%. How would that work?
Well, look, I mean, politically, that would be great for us, you know, you send everybody a check, but really, we have to think of it, I think, in a...
That just got everybody's attention, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I just saw everybody look up all of a sudden.
I know.
Yep.
But if you think about our core principles, right, fiscal responsibility is what we do as conservatives. That's our brand. And we have a $36 trillion federal debt. We have a giant deficit that we're contending with. I think we need to pay down the credit card, right? That's what I think we need to do.
Plus, we never even got a clear number on the savings. When Elon was in the mix, he kept tossing out astronomical figures without any receipts.
That we can actually find $1 trillion in savings. That would be roughly 15% of the $7 trillion budget. And obviously that can only be done with the support of everyone in this room.
But now they're saying $180 billion and people still don't buy it. And even if that figure is accurate, it's nowhere near enough for $5,000 checks. In fact, not even enough for $2,000 checks for every taxpayer in this country. So yeah, that plan was dead from day one. We just didn't know it. But the new dividend? That's different. This one's coming from tariff money. Still not enough to pay everyone, but at least it's real revenue that lawmakers are actually more open to using.
So this is not going to the hedge fund managers or all the Biden voters. This is not going to the Wall Street kingpins. They don't need any of it. This is going to the Trump blue-collar voters, the people who Joe Biden crushed, the people who didn't get a raise under Joe Biden for 4 long years, the people who cannot afford their gas because Joe Biden shut down our energy, who can't afford their groceries because Joe Biden drove up the price of everything. And it is a message from us to them, from Trump to these folks, that he is here to deliver for them. You know, I got the idea from the president. I mean, the president said maybe we ought to do a little rebate. Great idea. It tells our people, the working people, that we are here for you and these policies are going to benefit them. And we're in it for the long haul. These Trump policies are here to stay.
And honestly, that's why the administration is hyping these new checks way more than the whole Doge thing.
Something that will require legislation. But if you look at how much tariff revenue has been coming in, then there would actually be enough room to cover those checks and not go into the rest of the budget. So yeah, there would be enough money to pay for the $2,000 checks.
So are you actually actively working with Congress to try to make that happen?
And we're actively studying the matter and getting the numbers straight so the president has all the choices he needs to decide what to do.
We're not highly levered anymore. Now, with that being said, we'll pay back debt, but we also might make a distribution to the people, almost like a dividend to the people of America.
How much are you thinking for that, sir?
Well, we're thinking maybe $1,000 to $2,000.
Because let's be real, this is kind of a make or break moment for them. The president has been using tariffs since day one to say he's bringing jobs back. And now those tariffs might get wiped out by the Supreme Court. They're basically hanging by a thread.
But the bottom line is that the court did seem to doubt
that Congress gave the president such broad authority. And look, if the court ultimately says Trump went too far, you're absolutely right. He has other statutes he could rely on to impose tariffs, or Congress could simply ratify what the president has already done.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he pushes Congress to approve some kind of payout just to keep things moving. It might not be the full $2,000, but it's definitely possible. And with prices still going up, way more people would be on board with a smaller check than you'd expect. Before we go, I want to point out something that just shows how these politicians play by a totally different rule book. Remember when a bunch of senators were freaking out because Jack Smith allegedly tapped their phones?
This is an extraordinary revelation that just took place this afternoon. My colleagues and I found out, all of us Republicans, by the way, that we were placed under investigation by this FBI, under the Joe Biden FBI that was led, I presume, by Jack Smith and his predecessors.
Well, those same senators slid a little provision into the funding bill that lets them sue the federal government for up to $500,000 each. Quietly. No big press conference, no debate, just tucked in there.
This language did not go through any committee markup. This language was not shared with the House of Representatives prior to it being put in the bill. And I personally agree that it should be removed. The problem is, if we remove it, the Senate, it has to go back to the Senate. And then you're right back to where you were 40 days ago, where all of a sudden you're trying to get a piece of legislation out of the Senate. And so, I mean, I've struggled. I want you to know that, Mr. Cole. I want the American citizen. I've struggled with what the right course of action here is, because what they did is wrong. This should not be in this piece of legislation. And they can say it's about good governance all they want to. When they made it retroactive, then all of a sudden it was no longer about good governance. There's actually a list of people that know they will get paid as soon as this thing is signed. At least they've got the coupon where all they have to do is go file at the courthouse and get paid.
And here's what annoys me. Why is our tax money being used to pay them off because Jack Smith was snooping on them? You won't use that money to help seniors, but you'll happily fork over millions to career politicians who are already worth a fortune? Meanwhile, regular Americans have been spied on for decades. There are vans driving around your city right now that can literally see through your walls, and no one told you. They're called backscatter vans, and yes, they're real. These unmarked police vehicles are equipped with mobile X-ray scanners that can see through buildings, car doors, and even into your home from the street. You won't hear them, you won't know they're there, and they don't need a warrant. This isn't science fiction. These vans have been used in major cities like New York, Miami, and Los Angeles. The technology was originally designed for the military to detect explosives overseas. Now it's being used here on civilians with almost zero oversight. The vans fire bursts of ionizing radiation, the same kind used in TSA body scanners. But this radiation is mobile, more focused, and aimed straight through solid objects. No law requires police to inform the public. No study confirms it's safe. And there's no limit on who or what they scan. Privacy groups have warned for years this is warrantless surveillance on wheels. Your car, your home, your body, all exposed to invisible scans without your consent. And if it's already here, what's coming next? Every phone, every laptop, every app we use seems to be tracking our lives. So if they get to sue the government for spying, why don't we? But of course, they'd never allow that. Because the rules that make life harder for the rest of us, yeah, those rules never apply to the people in power. And that's why we can never stop asking questions, no matter who's running the country. Nuclear energy might be experiencing a global renaissance, driven by the inescapable need for 24/7 low-carbon power to service massive energy demand from electrification, data centers, and the significant needs of artificial intelligence, AI. Governments worldwide, including the US, which has invoked emergency powers, are classifying uranium as a critical mineral mineral, recognizing its role in national security and energy independence. This renewed commitment comes as the global uranium supply remains in a deficit, with years of underinvestment and mine closures creating a structural shortage. Additionally, after a significant price correction from its 2022 highs, the lithium market could be setting up for a meaningful second act. Driven by quadrupling EV demand and tightening global supply as production cuts bite, analysts foresee a looming deficit. This bottoming phase possibly presents an opportunistic moment for resource companies to acquire or reclaim high-quality assets at distressed valuations. Finally, copper is the bedrock of the entire energy transition and a strategic mineral essential for national security. The message from the highest levels of government is clear: controlling the supply chain of critical minerals, lithium, uranium, and copper, is non-negotiable. Vanguard Mining, ticker symbol UUUFF, the sponsor of today's video and available on Schwab, Fidelity, Interactive Brokers, and E-Trade, has strategically positioned itself at the center of this nexus through two major opportunistic transactions that transform the company from a single asset gold player into a multi-asset resource powerhouse in just the past weeks. Its current market cap is 10 million USD, yet its reclaimed lithium project alone previously commanded a valuation 7 times higher. Vanguard Mining has reclaimed 100% ownership of the Positos 1 lithium salar project located in the heart of Argentina's globally significant lithium triangle. This is a profound reversal of fortune, as this same asset drove the company's valuation to a high of $75 million in 2022. The project is situated in Salta, a region strategically championed by Argentine President Javier Milei for global critical mineral investment. With strong infrastructure nearby and a proven history, reclaiming this project provides UUUFF with immediate leverage into the high-growth lithium market, setting the stage for a dramatic market re-rating. Responding to the nuclear renaissance and the critical need for non-Russian uranium supply, Vanguard acquired the UT Prometeo uranium project in Paraguay. Paraguay's pro-capitalist government has created a highly favorable environment for foreign investment in the resource sector, aligning perfectly, in our view, with the demand for secure allied jurisdiction supply. The acquisition places Vanguard in the center of the uranium bull market, fueled by increasing global reactor builds, life extensions, and the relentless power demands of AI and data centers. With global uranium supply in a deficit for years and secondary supplies drying up, UT Prometeo represents a strategic position in the energy security complex. The move strategically places the company in the most essential energy fuel source for uninterrupted, clean power at scale. While spearheading the critical minerals push, Vanguard Mining retains its foundational strength in gold and copper, providing stability and diversification. The company's Canadian gold asset is located in a world-class, mining-friendly jurisdiction. This three-pronged portfolio, gold, copper, lithium, and uranium in politically favorable jurisdictions, gives UUUFF a uniquely balanced and explosive profile in the current resource landscape.